Hey everybody, very good morning to 15 day of reading challenge session. It's been 14 days and now it's 15th day. That's awesome. We have completed 14 day and it's very awesome because when you start something and if you started something, it's very sometimes it's very difficult to finish that thing or to be consistent whatever we started doing. It's our human tendency, I guess. I don't know exactly why we tend to not to do the things. Let's say if we started doing something, in between if we get some circumstances, some difficulties, then the probability of that thing, probability to quit that thing or that activity is high in comparison to other. So it's like that. But I guess for me, for reading challenge for 91 days, it's been like 40 days, not a 40, 4 days, and we have been doing it continuously because I guess it is just because of commitment. It is just because of social and not anxiety but pressure. I'm not getting exact word for to mention the feeling that I'm trying to express. Let's say if I'm going to commit in front of you guys, then there could be very high chances that I'm going to do that just because I shouldn't feel ashamed that even after saying the things I didn't do. So because of which as well, like I've been doing it very regularly, even though like even if I didn't sleep early, like I slept late night, like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, even though like I'm waking up early in the morning, just because this commitment, just because of social anxiety. I guess I can't say anxiety, I'm not getting correct word to like express that feeling. But what I'm trying to say here, if you are going to commit yourself in front of lots of people, then there could be so many chances that you are going to be consistent on that activity. So here we have our reading challenge activity, which we have been consistent, which we have been consistent on for 14 days, and it's 15, then it will also be like completed. So the thing is that whatever we are going to commit in front of lots of people, then most probably we are going to finish that until and unless we don't have solid reason to prove ourselves that, oh, why we didn't do this, what we started. So try doing this as well. You can also do it so that you can make yourself better. It will grow you eventually if you are going to. There are lots of problems right now, like one of my cold and another one is my eyes, because if I didn't get a good sleep, let's say I sleep for 6 hours, and if I sleep less than that, sometimes it's like eye straining and all those things, it happens. So but it's okay sometimes, like in order to get something or in order to be better, so it's okay, you can have it. After that, like if you feel that everything is going very well, you can take a pause, you can enjoy your things. Like right now I'm enjoying, but it's kind of you need to have sleep as well. So that is one thing that is I'm lagging. I'm gonna like improve that. But anyway, it's a very awesome day today as well. Every day is very awesome. We started doing our reading challenge. We are going to start it and we are going to finish today as well. Then tomorrow, left to tomorrow, it will be soon like 91 days. Let's see how we improve, how the thing goes, and how it works for us. If we get like if we improve or not, we are gonna see it. There is also one thing that improvement only will happen when you are trying to reflect on your past videos or experiences. If you are trying to reflect on those, then only you will be able to grow. Let's say if you are like doing, I was just not trying to make like word, but somehow it comes out. But anyway, so if you are trying to record yourself and trying to speak with people, and you are doing it very frequently, like every day, but you are not making any changes in your communication, you are not noticing what is wrong in your communication, in your body language. There are lots of things that are same as every day, so it will happen like after even 91 days you won't get any changes because you were not trying to reflect on your past experiences. So we'll try to figure this thing, that let's say if we are creating this video today, or if we are doing live streaming for now I'm gonna see this video afterward, like on Saturday or Sunday, so that I can see myself where I'm lagging. If I feel that this particular activity in me is not good, then I will try to improve that. This is how improvement will work. Otherwise it will not work. I guess it will work by our brain, but it's kind of very slow. It could be like take some time, so it's better see yourself and see what you don't want and what you want, and just implement that. This is how like improvement will be sooner. So I'll try to do that as soon as possible. I'm doing it actually, but because of some tight schedule I'm not able to see the videos, because reading as well as like doing editing as well. Editing challenge, not editing, it takes some time. So anyway, we are still trying, we are still going, so it will be soon that 91 days will be finished and we are going to be like good. Like as you can see, let me show you how many days is this. 37 days I have completed just reading. So we can do this on live streaming as well, and I don't think that it will take like so much effort, because I've been already reading, and if I've been reading I just need to fix the time so that I can read at once and just put my camera here and do the live streaming. That's the thing that what I have to do. So anyway, that's all for today's introduction. But let's start our reading, because we love to read, and again it's very awesome day. And our cold is also awesome. Ongoing conditions. In contrast to transient events, many good things are relatively stable and reliable, and these facts are all opportunities for good experiences. Right now, many people, many places you love are still here and doing fine. For example, when I'm getting drilled at the dentist, I'll imagine Chualum Chualum Chualum. You can see its pronunciation. I won't be able to hear it. I need to figure out how I can get the pronunciation from this device.
Tuolumne.
Cholum Meadows in Yosemite Park. And see in my mind the granite dumps and hear the soft wind in the pine trees. Good people are in your life and others wish you well. Look around your home, from closet to kitchen, and notice things that keep on existing, even naming them yourself, such as this sink will be here for me tomorrow, these clothes will be here, these walls will be painted, this table and lamp will keep on being useful. Now looking in widening circles, consider the imperfect but still positive aspects of your society, hopefully including the rule of law, democracy and civil rights, especially when compared to the alternatives, both in history and still widespread today. Think about culture and our easy access to music, ideas, art, entertainment, and wisdom teachings. Science and technology have advanced, offering things like refrigeration, air travel, flush, toilets, aspiring, and the internet. Wider still, you can count on nature's gift, from scampering dogs to clouds in the sky, or the sound of the sea. Here is a beautiful example. There is a hillside near my house that's covered with flowers most of the year. When I am at work in an office building, I know the hill is still beautiful. The color, the brilliant purple, orange, blue, and pinks. In my mind, I can see the squirrels running over the mossy rocks. It's like my little sanctuary at work to know that the flowers are there while I sit in the meeting. Sure, conditions can change. Fall turns to winter, children leave home, loved ones pass away, and positive conditions can have downsides. A big job may mean long hour of work. Still, the good conditions that do exist can be recognized, each of a valid basis for a sense of comfort, security, gratitude, relief, or ease. Your personal qualities. There are undoubtedly many good qualities in your character, personality, and capabilities, such as fairness, a sense of humor, and various talents and skills. Seeing these facts and feeling good about them will lift your mood and help heal feelings of inadequacy or shame. Feeling good about yourself doesn't make you conceited. As your sense of worth grows, there is actually less need to impress others. Neither hollow nor heroics are needed to have positive qualities. We all have some, but feeling that you are a fundamentally decent and capable person can be challenging if self-criticism makes you feel inadequate or self-doubting. Standing up for the truth to yourself and to others, that you are basically a good person, not a perfect person, but a good one, can feel taboo. Consider a friend's positive qualities, perhaps honesty, likable quirks, and a warm heart. Would denying these qualities be a fair way to treat this friend? Now, how do your friend benefit instead if you appreciated his or her positive qualities? Now, turn it around. Can you see your own good qualities? It's a matter of justice. You are telling the truth about yourself, much as you would tell the truth about a friend. Now, why would it be good to see good in your friend, but bad to see it in yourself? The golden rule is a two-way street. We should also treat ourselves as we would treat others. Observe virtues and strengths in yourself, such as endurance, patience, determination, empathy, compassion, and integrity. Also notice abilities, even seemingly simple ones, like cooking a meal, working a spreadsheet, or seeing a good friend. These are facts, not fiction. If negative thoughts stuck at you, but I am not always this way. Plus, this good thing is erased by the bad things about me. That's normal. Just be aware of these negative thoughts and then bring your attention back to the facts of your virtues, strengths, and abilities. Reflect on what different friends or family members appreciate, like, or love about you, or imagine that you are observing the life of someone just like you. What does he or she give to other? What is honorable and admirable about this person? Or imagine the fairest and most loving being in the universe whispering in your ear, telling you about your own goodness. Really try to admit the truth of your good qualities. Pick one and get a clear sense of it. Maybe you are a helpful friend, or a good cook, or a decent person, whatever it is. Know that it is real. Let the recognition of one of your good qualities become sense of gladness, confidence, and worth. Open to this position. Positive feelings sinking into you. Consider how it helps you and others when you feel good about yourself in this way. Then repeat this process with other good things about you. Take in the sense that you are a fundamentally good person. This woman took in the good she felt about the quality of her work. There is an awkward stage in medical residency when haunting doubts about your professional competency hover like dark clouds. To cope, I really took it in when things did go well, such as the gratitude from a schizophrenia patient other had given up on. who told me he could cherished our therapy session together as he slowly began to regain his life. The more I let in real example of being competent, the less I heard the negative tape playing in my head, and the happier and more engaged I felt. The past. A wonderful source of good experiences is the treasure chest of the past. If I am challenged by a situation, sometimes I remember pulling through an overhang when rock climbing fact while getting a sense in my body that determination and power. Or maybe there has been a setback in my work, so I'll bring to mind some past successes. If someone is critical after trying to sort through what happened and what I can learn, I might mouse about a good time with a friend and feel cared about and valued. Sometimes your past experiences will blend together. Over many years, I have been to hundreds of beaches, and now there is a distilled sense of vastness and exhilaration. When I think about times I have been at the seashore, or you might have value recollection of a period in your life that you could draw upon. For instance, knowing that you got through a financial crisis could evoke a positive sense of endurance and being an honorable person. In fact, you don't need any clear memories at all. You could use photos from places you don't recall or stories from when you were little to imagine good feelings you must have had. I know for a fact that I was really wanted and loved as a baby. The firstborn in my family after my mother had a couple of miscarriages, and I have imagined what it must have felt like to be so cuddled with love by my mom and dad. When you reflect on the past, there may be a bittersweet sense of the passing of good things, and that's all right. Try not to let your attention get caught up in regret or loss. You honor what was once sweet when you taste it again today. The future. The future is another kind of treasure chest that's full of potential good experiences. Whether it's looking forward to getting out of a tight pair of shoes after work or daydreaming about a vacation next summer, this mental time travel draws on middle line networks in the cortex that were an important evolutionary development, enabling our ancestors to plan more effectively. Take a moment to imagine something good that will happen later today, and then let this become a pleasant feeling for you. Imagine a good experience you might have in the future if you were to speak or act differently in a difficult relationship. Or imagine the benefit down the road from making a change in your life that you have been considering, such as getting a different job or meditating regularly. Sharing good with others. Studies show that talking about good things with others intensifies the experience. Humans are the most social animals on the planet, so we have highly developed neural networks for empathy, the ability to tune into others. When two or more people have a shared positive experience, the good feelings in these empathy networks bounce back and forth in a chain reaction. As John Milton wrote in Paradise Lost, good. The more communicated, more abundant growth. You can re reminisce about the past with someone, perhaps a fun time or a challenge you got through together. You can also celebrate the present, such as murmuring, "This is nice," to your mate when watching your kids in a play, sharing a happy glance as you enjoy a sunset, or smiling in pleasure at each other as you dive into a scrumptious desert, and you can happily plan for a nice future, from what to do this Saturday night to where to live after you retire. Finding the good in the bad. In 2011, a routine mole check revealed a malignant melanoma on my right ear. My brother-in-law had recently died from skin cancer, while the top of my mind was solving problems like where to go for treatment. A deeper layer felt like a little little animal caught up and shaking. I was on pins and needles for 10 days before the cancer was removed and tests showed that it hadn't spread. Let me change my profile. I guess it's focused. It's okay, then it's fine. Mm. I just turn on do not disturb profile just because I don't want to hear any notification. So I was reading here hadn't spread. Nonetheless, I am at heightened risk for recurrence. I could interpret all this in a glum, negative way, since sunscreen is such a hassle. Will it even help? I had having cancer hanging over my head, but I don't. Instead, mostly, I feel glad that this happened. It's made me more compassionate for people with an illness and given me more appreciation for life since I am still here to enjoy it. Your perspective on the facts, the context in which you place them, and the meaning you give them really shapes your experience of them. In particular, finding positive meaning in negative events, which is called reframing, is helpful for coping and recovery. This is not to just suggest that a tough experience is any less painful or that it is alright for people to mistreat you. My point is that even a horrible event or situation may have some opportunities in it for a positive experience. Consider past hardships. Did these make you stronger in any way? What lessons did you learn from them? What about losses? Have these helped you appreciate what you still have? Consider a current challenge and ask yourself, has this made me realize Has this made me realize I need to change my course in some way? Reflect on what you have learned about taking care of yourself from people who mistreated you. Or suppose you are in the middle of a major transition. Now, what might you gain in this new chapter of your life? Now, one woman found something peaceful in the passing of her father. My dad was U.S. Marine in World War II, who drew his last breath on a sunny Memorial Day. We heard the loud noise of fighter jets flying overhead at the exact moment he died. The bedroom was quiet after the flyby. I was filled with sorrow and didn't know if I could take losing my father, but at the same time I was out by the love, peace, and calm that filled the room after he passed. I had bathed myself in it. It felt as if time stood still. It was a very intense moment. That experience gave me a sense of memory that carried me through the whole experience of my losing my beloved father and carries me to this still day. This day still. Anytime that I now feel lost or stressed, I remember those moments of intense calm and bath in them again, caring about others. Thinking about a friend, speaking kindly, or being generous are warm hearted opportunities for a positive experience. Loving thoughts, words, and deeds usually feel good. In fact, one study found that reward centers in the brain activated more when people choose to give money to charity rather than to keep it for themselves. Caring includes both inner experiences and outer behaviors. Internally, you could recall someone you like. Externally, you could smile at a stranger, touch someone in sympathy, tuck a child into bed, or stop interrupting your wife. I have been working on this one myself. For extra benefits, you can be happy while anticipating an act of caring, happy while doing it, and happy while remembering it. And if you're caring toward others, just might evoke more caring from them toward you. Here is one man's example of taking in loving experience. Holding my baby grandson in my arms as I sweat and sang gently. His eyes closed. His breathing became regular, and he went to sleep. I savored the sense of holding something precious for several minutes, and allowed the sense of this moment to dwell within a binding here. Astonishing. Hey, welcome to my live streaming where we read every day. People are going, not staying. It's okay, no problem. Minutes and allowed the sense of this movement to dwell within a binding here, astonishing. Seeing good in the lives of others. One kind of caring about others is so important that I want to single it out here. Our ancestors lived in small bands in which individuals needed to cooperate to keep their children and no one and another alive in tough conditions. The evolving capacity to take pleasure in the joys and success of other like helped likely helped deepen the bonds of caring that promoted survival and the passing of genes. Being happy that others are happy in an innate and powerful inclination of the human heart. And it gives you endless opportunity to feel good since there is always someone somewhere who is happy about something. Think about a good fact in the life of someone you care about. Now then see if you can feel pleased and glad for this person. Now this is sometimes called altruistic joy. Happiness at the good fortune of others. If it is hard to have much sense of this, try it with a child, or can imagine. Perhaps a little kid opening a present, or licking an ice cream cone, or playing with puppy. If other feeling come up, such as sadness about your own difficulties, that's common. Be aware of such feelings, but then gently bring your attention back to what you want to encourage in your mind. Happiness at the welfare. Now, thus try this with various people in your life. Then, with people you don't know, such as strangers on the street, or in the news, or imagined far away. Personally, I love this practice. Besides being kind to others, it gradually opens your heart. Plus, it's a great way to undo feeling of envy, jealousy, or ill. When you do this practice, thoughts about what is bad in your life are replaced by a warm feeling about what is good in the lives of others. Imagine good facts. The midline cortical networks that enable our uniquely human abilities to think about the future and the past are the neural foundation of that wonderful inner movie theater. The imagination. If you are like me, it's way too easy to use that theater for bad purpose like replaying again and again a hurtful interaction. Instead, use it for good purpose, such as imagining good facts that could be true and even ones that couldn't be. Things that could be true. I haven't served but I really like videos of people riding huge waves. When I think about doing this myself, it makes me feel excited and happy. This imagined fact will likely never come to pass, but at least it's possible, and thus a potential source of a positive experience. You can use this method in a variety of ways. You could imagine a loved one's voice talking you through a challenging situation. If you have talent that haven't been fully used, consider what it might be like if they were. If you wished you felt stronger. Imagine having a black belt in karate. If you would like to feel more peaceful, imagine sitting quietly in nature. In each case, be realistic about what you might feel. Don't overdo it, which would undermine the power of this practice. Things that couldn't be true. You can also use your inner theater to imagine good facts that could never be true for you. Deep down in the emotional memory centers of your brain, imagined experiences build neural structures through mechanisms similar to those that actual lived experiences use. You are not using this method to delude yourself about what's being missing, or to slip into a rosy fancy world that distract you from improving this one. You still know what's true. You just suffer it less. Now, for example, I have known people who never received any kind of loving parenting. Feeling loved in this way is important for healthy psychological development, and the lack of it leaves a wound in the heart. Now, for these people, it was a powerful experience to imagine a loving parent and then take in feeling of being cuddled, soothed, and cherished. This didn't mean they forgot what had actually happened in their childhood, but they were resourceful on their own behalf, finding ways to give themselves at least some sense of vital experience, feeling cherished by a loving parent. Though it wasn't a miracle cure, this practice made a big difference to them. Producing a good facts. Most days hold opportunities for creating good facts, and each of these new facts is a chance for a good experience. You could compliment someone, put a flower in vase, turn on music, rearrange some furniture, take a different route to work, eat protein at breakfast, invite the cat up into your lap, or put on a fresh pillow case. The point is not to pile new demands on yourself, but simply to be open to the chance to create a fact that could foster a good experience. I was taking my food rest, so let it be. Let's read. One way to create a good fact is to make something that makes you happy. A friend made a little box that she keeps in her handbag with seashell from a trip to Italy. A picture of her dog and a cross. When she wants a boosts, she opens it and looks inside. Another friend got a photo of herself as a child and put it next to her driver's license, so that when she shows her ID, she sees this lovable girl. Restraint is another way to create a good facts. Turn off a nerve-juggling TV program. Don't criticize. Refuse to worry more than 3 times about something you can't change. 3 strikes and the worry is out. If you are caught up in something bad and disengage from it, that alone creates something good. Takes a moment. Take a moment to register these and enjoy it before shifting to the next thing you are doing. Each morning, you could pick one good fact that you are going to bring into being that day. And when you create this fact, really enjoy the experience that follows, directly evoking a positive experience. As you build up the neural traces of positive experiences, it becomes easier to activate positive states of mind at will. Now, without having to think about any good facts to evoke them, you see if you can call up a good feeling directly. Start with an experience that's easy to access, perhaps a sense of strength, calm, love, or gladness. In the beginning, this works best if your mind isn't disturbed by worries or stress, but with practice, you'll learn to light up the neural circuits of positive states even when you are rattled or upset, like reaching through clutter to get the tool you need. Seeing life as opportunity. In the previous chapter and in this one, we have explored many different ways to do step first, taking in the good to have to activate a positive experience. These are: notice a positive experience that's already present in the foreground of awareness, in the background of awareness. Create a positive experience by finding good facts in your current setting, finding good facts in recent events, finding good facts in ongoing condition, finding good facts in your personal qualities, finding good facts in the past, anticipating good facts in the future, sharing the good with others, finding the good in the bad, caring about our others, seeing good in the lives of others, imagining good facts, producing good facts directly, evoking a positive experience, seeing life as opportunity. Good facts are all around, even if life is difficult. The sun rose today. Others are happy and good smells good. Food smells good. Good facts persist inside you. Your body keeps going. Your mind is full of abilities and you are fundamentally good person. Even bad facts often contains opportunities for good experiences. And there are many ways to have good experience without reference to fact at all. Sometimes it is impossible to notice or create a good experience. The mind could be shattered by reorganizing pain or terrible loss, or soothed by an overwhelming depression, or flooded with panic. Then all you can do is ride out the storm, being with it, letting it be, hopefully with some underlying compassion for yourself. But most of the time, it is possible to notice, create a good experience, whether it's looking around for something you like, seeing, recognizing your good intentions, or thinking of someone you love. Or it could be as simple as shifting in your chair to a more comfortable position. Recognizing that each day offers many ways to generate a good experience feels good in its own right. Imagine discovering that you could give a good experiences to a dear friend or to someone who was hurting. It would probably make you happy to know that you could do this. Well, you have the same power to give good experiences to yourself. This is the 16th way to have a positive experience, seeing life as opportunity. Even in the middle of hardship and pain, it is usually within your power to ignite a good thought, sense, perception, emotion, desire, or action. It's also usually in your power to add fuel to the good experience to keep it going, and we will explore how to do this in the next chapter. Taking it in, being able to self activate positive experiences to call up inner strengths at will is fundamental to coping, well-being, and everyday effectiveness. With practice, these experiences and strengths will increasingly activate on their own. In order to turn the idea of a good fact into a more embodied experience, tune it to your body, soften and open, and think about aspects of the fact that naturally generate positive emotions, sensations, desires, or actions. Good facts can be found in your current setting as well as in recent events, ongoing conditions, your personal qualities, in the past, and the lives of others. You can also create good facts. Any good facts is the potential basis for a good experience. Additional ways to create positive experiences include imagining the future, sharing good experiences with others, finding the good in the bad, being caring, imagining good facts, both ones that could be true and ones that couldn't be, and directly evoking a positive experience. Sometimes you just can't have a positive experience, but most of the time it is possible to notice or create one. This fact is another source of good experiences, seeing life as opportunity. We have completed our 6th chapter and 7th chapter. Using the methods in the previous 2 chapters, now let's say you are feeling relaxed, grateful, or loving. You have got a good thing going. Now step 1 of taking in the good, now that you help good experience sink into your brain. This is where step 2 or 3 and 3 come in. In step 2, you enrich the experience by staying with it and growing it inside your mind. In step 3, you absorb it, intending and sensing that the experience is becoming a part of you. These two steps install experiences into your brain, turning good mental states into good neutral traits. Not a neutral, but neural. Enriching an experience. Now, five major factors hide and learning the conversation of leading mental events into lasting neural structure. The greater the duration, intensity, multimodality, novelty, and personal relevance, the greater the retention in memory. Each of these is a way to increase neural firing, so you get more wiring during an episode of Taking in the Good. The repeated episodes of Taking in the Good will further strengthen these neural traces. The upper reaches of the mind or brain system can produce lofty fights of fancy, subtle mathematical insights, richly textured feelings, and exquisite images and melodies. But down in the basement, as it were, building new structure is a mechanical process. The more tools you have, and the more often you use them, and the more seconds that tick by while you are using them, the more neural structure you'll grow. More is better. Plus, it's nice to have five different options for enriching an experience. If one isn't applicable or isn't working for you right now, you can try other ones. Duration. So often a good experience seems to fly on past. Instead, help it last, staying with it at least 5 to 10 seconds in a row. The longer, the better. You can use the methods that activate the good experience to reactivate it again and again to keep it going. Now, one man sent me a vivid example of how he does this. Now, I bring up a memory of eating chocolate cake and ice cream, and not only the flavors, but also the texture and temperatures. I recognize how much pleasure I am experiencing and imagine my brain having smiley faces floating around in it as I enjoy the flavors. I remember to stretch out as long as I can the pleasure obtained by eating chocolate, cake, and ice cream. When thoughts distract me, I take another mental bite. I try to stay with this experience for 30 seconds, a minute, several minutes longer. Later on, if something bothers me, I say to myself, time for cake and ice cream. Let yourself have your good experience. Be devoted to it, renouncing all else for as long as you like. Give your mind over to it. In a good sense, let it have you. Make room for it. Preserve a kind of sanctuary for it in your mind. Staying aware of a positive experience. Deliberately apply your attention to the experience and then sustain it. It's a little like ice skating. Planting your foot is like applying your attention, and then gliding along is like staying in touch with the experience. From time to time, you can reapply your attention to it and sustain your contact with it. You keep a beat of attention on your own attention so you can bring it back if it wanders. The gentle instructions to yourself can help, like a soft voice in the back of your mind saying, "Stay with this." To reduce distractions from tension and stress, take one or more exhalations, which will activate the calming and relaxing parasympathetic wing of your nervous system. Softly name the experience to yourself, such as calming, relaxing, safe. If you are distractible, try to take in particularly stimulating experiences. These include physical pleasure, emerging emotions such as delight, awe, joy, affection, and eagerness, and embodied attitudes like fears, determination. If your attention wanders, that's normal. When you notice this, try to return the spotlight of attention back to the positive experience without criticizing yourself. Negative experiences such as uncomfortable feeling or sensations may come up for you alongside positive ones. Recognize this, let them be, and stay with the positive experience. Remember that you can think about other things later. Also, try the suggestion in the box, staying aware of a positive experience. This page. Intensity. As the intensity of an experience increases, so do levels of the neurotransmitter norepinephrine, which promotes the formation of new synapses. The more that an experience foster new synapses, the more that it gets woven into your brain, and as the experience becomes more pleasurable, particularly if it was more rewarding than your brain initially expected, because you deliberately intensified it and opened to it through taking in the good. Dopamine levels rise as well, which also promotes new synapses. Is in essence, as the pleasurable intensity of an experience grows, so does it conversion into lasting neural structure, consequently encouraging positive experiences to get more intense and feel as good as possible is a great way to get lasting benefit from them. To do this, encourage the positive experience to become richer, fuller, and bigger in your body and mind. Now, sink into the experience and let it become as intense as possible. Be aware of things that are rewarding about it, such as how good something is on your skin or how touched you are when someone is kind to you. You could inhale a little faster or get a sense of pumping up energy inside yourself. Perhaps you close your eyes or look down at something unchanging so you can really focus on this delicious experience. An experience may be subtle, such as serenity, belonging, or fulfillment, yet it can still pervade your mind. Savor it, relish it, enjoy it. Multimodality. Multimodality means that you are aware of as many aspects of the experience as possible. Suppose you are thinking about a friend's good qualities, you could also tune into related sensations, emotions, desires, and actions. Or if you are feeling grateful, get an image of a stream of good things coming into your life, sense your body easing, notice the wish to share some of what you have been given with others, and imagine speaking your thanks out loud. In particular, try to sense good experience in your whole body. Let your attention move down into your body like water moving into the earth. Bring awareness to your breathing, which will help you stay in touch with your body. See if you can even get a sense of breathing as the whole body, with feelings like happiness or love or peace woven into the breathing. Yeah, it's so obvious that it's easy to forget that we engage life as a very physical body. Now, subcortical control center are continually monitoring the state of your body and sending calls for action and related emotion signals up into your cortex. These subcortical signals shape the views and values held in the cortex, with results that revert reverberate back down to the subcortex and brainstem. Through this loop, actions shapes thinking, and thinking shapes action, which is the basis of what is called embodied cognition. For example, studies show that leaning toward a reward increases the brain's response to it, and that your facial expression, posture, and even whether you open or close your hands all influence your experience and behavior. Consequently, you can enrich an experience by embodying it through various kind of action, even subtle ones. Early in my marriage, when my wife was telling me about a problem and it was starting to look like it was me, I would pull back physically, get me out of here. But gradually, I found that leaning toward her helped keep my mind in the conversation and my heart open to her. Similarly, you could use a soft harp nail to lift your mood. Sit up a little straighter to become more alert, or then your stance to feel a little stronger. In general, the more actively and bodily we engage positive experiences, the greater their impacts. A creative way to engage an experience with the multiple senses is to be artistic with it. Even simple things can be powerful, as you can see in this example from a middle school zeller. For more on taking in the good with children, see chapter 9. I facilitate advisory groups for students who are academically disengaged, and I have introduced a gratitude exercise in which we practice taking in the good. I pass out strips of different colored paper, glue stick, and markers. Everyone gets three strips. I ask the students to close their eyes and to take a few minutes to think about what they are grateful for in their lives. Then I tell them to pick three of these things and write each one on a paper strip. I let them know that what they choose can be grand or as simple as melted cheese, hot water, or seedless watermelon. Three of my favorites. Next, each student constructs a paper chain out of his or her strip of paper. Each time a link is added, we pause to reflect on the goodness the added experience. Remind the students to let the experience sink in and become a part of them. What I notice most of all when doing this exercise are the peace and quiet that feel our space and the gentle smiles on all the faces. Novelty. Your brain is a novelty detector, always looking for something unexpected and then storing it rapidly in memory. So try to find what is fresh in your positive experience, especially if they are commonplace commonplace ones, such as eating a slice of bread, arriving home from work, or looking into the eyes of someone you love. Now, let these moments be new ones. Look for unexpected rewards in your experiences, such as a sense of I didn't expect this subtle behavior curry in my soup, or I didn't know it would feel this good to hug you, which will tend to lift dopamine levels and thus promote the registration of the experience in your brain. Bring your attention to different aspects of an experience. Now try this with something you know well, such as breathing. Take a few breaths, explore some of their many sensations in the belly, chest, diaphragm. Between belly and chest and throat, notice cool air coming in and warm air going out. Notice sensation around the upper lip, in your back, in the small movements of shoulders, neck, head, and hips. Each time your attention moves to another aspect of an experience, it's a new stimulus to your brain. Notice things as they are changing, which also brings a sense of novelty. When talking with a friend, be aware of expressions flickering over his or her face and the ebb flow of feelings inside you about what your friend is saying. Or while sitting calmly with a sense of basic well-being, observe how sight, sounds, tastes, touch, smells, and thoughts continually arise in awareness and then pass away. As you saw in chapter 2, the hippocampus is very important for memory and thus for taking in the good. But its neurons are also vulnerable to being weakened or killed by the stress hormone cortisol. Fortunately, the hippocampus is the primary site in the brain where new neurons are born, called neurogenesis. The survival of these baby neurons is increased by the novelty of your experiences. Since no experience is exactly like any other, focusing on and taking in different aspects of your experience will promote a sense of freshness and novelty, and thus many support neurogenesis and help prepare your hippocampus. Personal relevance. Imagine walking through a mall or looking at a website. Your brain is continually scanning to find things that could matter to you, relevant to my needs, interest, or concern. Zero in on it, not relevant. Move on. And when your brain does find something that's relevant to you, it files that experience in storage. Consequently, you can use this natural process of relevance seeking to build up the neural traces of your positive experiences. Be aware of how an experience that you are taking in could help you. Why it's valuable. For example, relaxation and calm could ease stress and worry. Some shared humor with your partner could help you feel more connected when you were busy scheduled, make it hard to be close. You are placing the experience in the context of your life. You could even say to yourself during an experience, and this applies to me because built into the sense of its relevance to you is kindness to yourself, a feeling that this is what I need, this feels good, this is right for me. You are not delivering supplies to your ego, but rather giving yourself an experience that matters, just as you would offer it to a friend who could use it. Observing an experience. Now, one time, while while on vacation, my wife and I watched a sunset. Now, that was extraordinary, even by Hawaii standards. I told myself, remember this one. And now, as I rewrite 20 years later, I can still see the vivid glowing purples and pinks across the sky. By itself, enriching an experience, the second step to taking in the good, will heighten its installation in your brain since you are intensifying and prolonging neural activity, which naturally tends to build neural structure. And just as you do when taking a mental snapshot of beautiful sunset, you can increase this installation further by intending and sensing that the experience is sinking in, becoming part of you. In the third step of taking in the good, absorb in effect, taking in the good is like making a fire. Step first, lights it. Step 2 adds fuel to keep it going, and step 3 fills you with its warmth. You can start the third step after clearly ending the second step, but much of time the sense of observing a positive experience mingles with and overlaps the sense of enriching it. It's like being warmed by a fire even as you add sticks to it. In doing the third step, some people visualize the positive experience shifting down into them like gentle rain or soft golden dust, or being blessed like a jewel in the treasured chest of their heart. One person gave me a striking visual metaphor for observing an experience. If you take a clear glass of water and add a drop of oil, the oil stays at the surface. If you take another glass of water and add a drop of food coloring, the drop gradually makes its way through the water and tint it that color. This is how I visually explain taking in the good to others. The oil represents a fleeting experience that makes no difference, while the coloring represents a tangible change, one that takes its time to sink in. Others sense that the positive experience is warming them, like a cup of hot cocoa, or easing hurt places inside like a soothing balm, or they simply know that they are registering, and are retaining the experience, that it is settling down into their brain, becoming a part of them, a resource inside they can take with them wherever they go. Find what works for you and trust that the good experience will make its way into your brain. As you are sinking into it, it is sinking into you. Here is an example of how one woman repeatedly observed a positive experience. Recently, one of my cats got sick. I took Sammy, who is 11 years old, to the vet thinking they would get some medicine and be good as new in no time. Instead, I learned that her little chest was filled with fluid, which made it hard for her to breathe. She had an incurable illness. After talking it over with my vet and my partner, I decided it was best to put Sammy down. Animals are incredibly precious. But the unthinkable decision had to be made. The euthanasia euthanasia was seared into my brain and hurt. I cried for days. After some time passed and I became a little more centered, I started trying to take in the good. I held memories of the precious good times I had with Sammy and savored each one for well over 30 seconds. I sensed those positive feelings sinking in deep like a salve and healing those last terrible moments with her. In a way, it felt like Sammy herself was becoming a part of me. Comfort was coming into me from remembering her sitting on my lap or chasing a toy. Whatever methods you use to observe and experience, try to have the willingness, even the courage to be changed, to grow, to become a little different as a result. For example, as you take in an experience of gratitude, see if you can feel yourself actually becoming a little more thankful and appreciative. As you take in a feeling of strength, see if you can let yourself truly become a little stronger. The mind and the brain it takes its shape from what it rests upon, and you are letting it mold itself around a positive experience that you are taking in. Peace, contentment, and love. Now let's pull the pieces together with an extended practice of taking in the good applied to the foundational experience of peace, contentment, and love, which will bring you home to the responsive mode of your brain. Now, when you first do this practice, it can help to take a little time with each part of it so that you develop a clear sense of it. Then increasingly you will be able to go directly to an integrated sense of peace, contentment, and love. I often use this practice myself, including when I first wake up for a very version of it. See 1 minute for good and this page. Here we go. Now come into a sense of being present with whatever is moving through your awareness. Thoughts, sense perceptions, emotions, desires, and actions. Now let them come and go. Recognize some of the ways you are protected right now, including the walls around you and good people nearby. Recognize some of your resources such as capabilities, decent credit, or a driver's license. Bring to mind a sense of strength, of determination. Notice that your body is basically all right now, that your heart is beating and that breathing is happening just fine, that you are okay even if not perfect. Be aware of any needless sense of being threatened and see if you can let it go. Try to disengage from worrying or planning. You can do this later. You are not struggling or contenting with anything or anyone. Any annoyance or exasperation, perversion, irritability, or anger is falling away. Be aware of any unnecessary guarding, bracing, or anxiety, and see if you can let it go. Open to feeling as safe as you reasonably can. You are getting calmer and more relaxed. Perhaps you feel a sense of tranquility, like a still mountain lake. Now, there is no basic for aversion. Now, you are not resisting anything either inside yourself or out in the world. You are allowing uncovering a sense of peace. Stay with peace, enjoy it, enrich and observe the sense of it. Sink into peace as it sink into you. Stay with this as long as you like. Now let the sense of peace move into the background of your night. Bring into the foreground something that helps you feel thankful, appreciative, grateful. Think about something else that brings you pleasure, gladness, or delight, or joy. Remember a time when you got something done. Be aware of things you have achieved, goals you have met. Recall times of satisfaction and fulfillment. Call to mind more things that bring you feeling of fullness and well-being. Let go of disappointments, frustrations, dissatisfactions. Be kind to yourself about losses while accepting the reality of them. See if you can find a sense of enoughness in this moment, even abundance, with no wish for this moment to be anything other than what it is. A feel of growing contentment. There is no basis for grasping. You are not chasing after anything inside the mind or out in the world. Like immediately, excellent, and that's very awesome. I have to wait for a while. Now it's started working. Now let the sense of contentment move into the background of your mind and bring into the foreground things that help you feel loved and loving, open to and find a sense of emotional connections with another being, perhaps a person, a pet, or a group of people. Think of someone who is warm or friendly toward you and help this become a feeling of being cared about. Recall a time you felt include you felt included, seen and understood, appreciated or respected, even liked and loved. Let feeling cared about for you, softening your face and throat and eyes, easing and warming your heart. Let rejection fall away and resentments and past sorrows in relationship. Know what it's like to feel loved. Recognize some of the ways you are a good person, that you care about others. Be aware of some of your contributions to others, some of your abilities. Let feelings of work sink in again. Let it land inside that you truly are a good person. Bring to mind someone you like, someone matters to you, someone you love. Find compassion. The wish that living being not suffer. For someone, perhaps a friend in difficulty, a child in pain, or impoverished people far away or close to home. Find kindness, the wish that being be happy. Bring to mind someone somewhere who is happy. Be glad about the good fortune of others. Let any envy or jealousy or love you needn't be disturbed by them. Feel more and more connected to other people, to all life, even to the whole planet and beyond. There is no basis for clinging to anyone. You are already related to others, already loved and loving. Love flowing in and love or flowing out. You are loving and covering a sense of love. Stay with love, enjoy it, enrich and observe the sense of it. Sink into love as it sink into you. Stay with this as long as you like. Now get a sense of peace, contentment and love all present together in your mind, supporting one another. A sense of wholeness, your natural state. There is an integrated sense of balance and well-being as you rest in the responsive mode of your brain. There may be challenges to face or pain in your body or concern in your mind, but these do not disturb the core of you. There is no need for craving, no for drivenness of any kind. You are experiencing that your core needs for safety, satisfaction, and actions are basically being met in this moment. Being home. Taking it in. The second and third step of heal are to enrich and absorb a positive experience in order to install it in your brain. Five major factors enrich an experience and heighten its conversion into neural structure, duration, intensity, multimodality, novelty and personal relevance. You can observe the experience by visualizing it sinking into you, by sensing it coming into your body, and by letting yourself be changed by it. Routinely giving yourself a basic sense of peace, contentment, and love is a wonderful way to come home to responsive mode and deepen its neural stresses. As I've been reading this book, I'm just remembering my good experiences with my work. Actually, whenever I do something, I feel very good that, oh, I achieved this, and it makes me feel very, very good. Like let's say if a problem which we have been solving, and for me like it's kind of very quick, then it makes me feel like, oh man, what I did, it's just awesome that I have completed, I have like achieved, I have like solved the problem, and that's very awesome. I feel very good about it, and it's not for first time, but it's always. Flowers pulling weeds. The first three steps of taking in the good involve only the positive. Let me think about my good experience. Ooh, I guess I'm gonna get a sleepy. I don't know, but it's okay. Everything is fine. Everything is awesome. Everything will work very good, and yeah, it's very awesome. The first three steps of taking in the good involve only the positive. You might be using these steps to address a challenge or hard is something that's still bothering you. But while doing the steps, you are focusing entirely on positive experiences. For example, I had some embarrassing times as a kid getting picked last for sports team. So when I was older, I took in many good experiences of playing football and rock climbing with friends. In the moment of doing this, there was no sense in my mind of the old embarrassments. Even though part of what motivated me to look for and take in these experiences was knowing I had these lingering issues from childhood. In contrast, in the fourth step of taking in the good, link you hold both positive and negative material in your awareness. At the same time, you keep the positive material more prominent and intense in the sense it connecting with and gradually soothing. Perhaps even replacing the negative material in this step, the flowers of positive experiences and crowd out and gradually replace the weeds of negative thoughts, feelings, and desires. Let me explain first why this method works and then give you some suggestions for how to use it effectively. Negative material has costs. Unpleasant experiences are a natural part of life, and some of them have benefits. Sorrow can tenderize. Sorrow can tenderize your heart, hardship can make you stronger, and anger can energize you to deal with mistreatment. Further, if you resist unpleasant experiences, this blocks their flow through your mind and body, and they stick around. If you know go negative on the negative, you just have more negative. But when unpleasant experiences become negative material stored in your brain, that's not good. Negative material has negative consequences. Darkens your mood, increases anxiety and irritability, and gives you a background sense of falling short of inadequacy. This material contains painful belief like no one would want me. The desires and inclinations in it take you to bad places. It can numb you and muzzle you, or it can make you overreact or act to others, which can create vicious circles of negativity between you and them. Negative materials impacts your body, wears down long-term mental and physical health, and can potentially shorten your lifespan. Overall, negative material in your brain is like a strong current continually tugging you toward the reactive mode. Now, understanding the neural machinery of how this material is activated and stored suggests ways to actually change it, even to the point of clearing it out entirely. how negative material works in your brain. Sometimes we experience negative thoughts, sensation, emotions, desires, or actions related to explicit recollections. If I am reminded of the time we were driving with our kids and our car nearly slid off a snowy cliff near Yosemite, I get sickening feeling of dread and helplessness, but negative material usually emerges from implicit memory stores. Suppose you bought a pair of jeans and wear tighter than usually, which reactivate a whole sludgy package of self-criticism about your weight, or perhaps you were out for a walk. Began thinking about money, and it was like taking the lead of a bucket of anxiety. Whether the negative material comes from explicit or implicit memory, it's not usually activated the way you would open a document on your computer, unless it's a flash bulb. Flashbulb memory of trauma with away every painful detail imprinted on your mind. It is not retrieved as a whole but reconstructed from underlying seeds. The brain does this so quickly that it seems like a particular folder of crud is pulled from a filing cabinet somewhere inside your head, but actually there is an active process in which vast numbers of synapses, millions if not billions of them, take several tenths of a second to sync up together into a kind of confederation or coalition that represents the conscious experience of this negative material. Then, when the negative material, such as an anxious preoccupation, occupation, an image from a battlefield, a muzzling of self-expression around authority figures, and a hitchy reactivity with a mate, or a groping feeling as a single person of being unwantable. What I'm doing, yeah. Sometimes it's like whenever I feel hungry, it comes out like the gas is. I don't know like why it's having like this. Self-expression around authority figures and edgy reactivity with a mad or growing feeling as a single person of being unwantable is no longer active in awareness. It becomes gradually consolidated in memory structure. Little molecular machines need at least several minutes and probably several hours to rewire the negative material back into your brain. The fact that this is an active process which takes time gives you two methods for soothing, healing, and potentially replacing negative material. Two methods for changing negative material. If something other than negative material is also present in awareness, it is represented by its own coalition of synapses. The two coalitions start liking together. Since neurons that fire together wire together, therefore you can deliberately be aware of both positive and negative material. So that especially if what is positive is vividly present in the foreground of awareness, the positive will connect with the negative. In effect, strongly positive thoughts and feelings begin weaving their way into the negative material. When the negative material leaves awareness to be consolidated in neural structure, it will tend to take some of these positive links with it. When the negative material is context is the next reactivated, it will also tend to bring along some of these positive associations, these positive thoughts and feelings. Override the negative. Let's say you had a minor argument with a friend or your mate. It was awkward and uncomfortable. Uncomfortable, but you know rationally that you two will be all right. Still, you can't stop worrying about it. So what you could do is to be aware at the same time of both your anxiety and feeling of being cared about by someone who could be the other person. You keep making the positive feelings stronger than the negative ones while being aware of both of them at once. After a dozen or more seconds, let the anxiety go and stay with the feeling of being cared about for the dozen seconds or so. If the worry about the relationship returns, it could be a little or a lot milder as a result of this brief practice. And as with any mental practice, the more you do it, the greater its impact on your brain. Now, this is the first method for using positive material to reduce negative materials. Still, as beneficial as this infusion of positive into negative is, research indicates that it can sometimes merely override the negative material without actually erasing it, like a pretty picture painted on top of a cream for older ones. When negative material is overwritten, it might return with a vengeance if the right trigger is present, or it could be easier to reacquire down the road. Erase the negative. To deal with this potential weakness of overriding negative material with positive material, new research is pointing to a second method for reducing negative material. Certain ecological protocols literally erase negative association in neural structure rather than just overriding them. Here is how it works. Negative material is often associated with a neutral trigger. Suppose that in your childhood you had a male sports coach who was loud, critical, and scary. In this case, male authority, a neural trigger. Since male authority is not inherently negative, become connected in your brain to experiences of fear and humiliation. Negative material. If so, these days you might still feel uncomfortable around male authority figure at work, even though you know intellectually that he is not going to treat you like your coach did when you were young. How can you break the chain that ties the neural trigger to the negative material? Somehow, I'm getting more of sleepiness because I don't know why. Yesterday also it was happening, but anyway, we have to read and we are going to read and we are going to finish it. It's not so much difficult for us. It just keep going. No need to think about anything. In your brain, there is a window of reconsolidation which lasts at least an hour. Now that you can use to do this for at least an hour after the negative material has been activated and then left awareness, repeatedly bringing to mind the neural trigger while feeling only neutral or positive. Now for roughly a dozen seconds or longer, will disrupt the reconsolidation of the negative association to the neural trigger in neural structure, even reducing amygdala activation related to the neural trigger. Working with the example here of a male authority figure, you could use both methods for reducing negative material. First, hold in mind a strong sense of self-worth along with a memory in the background of awareness of being embarrassed by the coach when you were young. In doing this, you are consciously linking positive and negative material. Second, after letting go of the painful memory for a few times over the next hour or so, be aware of only neutral or positive things such as a feeling of worth while also bringing to mind the idea of male authority or a memory or an image of a male authority figure that you know the new neutral trigger for a dozen seconds of longer. You could use this method in your everyday activities as well. Just before a meeting with a man who is an authority figure, you could link in awareness both the strong sense of worth and the painful memory of the sports coach. Then, during the meeting with the man, re-access the sense of worth several times with no reference to the old memory of your coach. You could also try this approach in lower key way, such as by simply watching the male authority figure across a room while repeatedly renewing your sense of worth. Powerful possibilities. In some, during their reconstruction and reconciliation phases, the neural patterns underlying negative material can be changed by linking them to positive material in two ways. First, you can infuse positive influences into negative material. Now, this will frame it in a larger, more realistic, and more hopeful perspective, plus soothe and ease its feelings, sensations, and desires. Second, you can disrupt the reconciliation of associations between negative material and neutral triggers in neural structure, gradually erasing them. These are powerful tools for reducing and clearing negative material. Here is one of my favorite examples of using them. I was dog sitting my daughter's two cardigan Welsh corgis. I know them well and we like each other. I decided to lie down quietly on the floor to see what they would do. Within seconds, they came over, put their fronts paws on my chest, licked my face and lips, very gently bit my nose and ears, snuffled at my neck, ran around me, and then started all over. Needless to say, I was laughing and giggling. It was such a lovely experience of unconditional love. Then it occurred to me that I could use this experience to heal a very painful memory from when I was about 3 or 4 years old. My grandmother was nasty and cruel and had locked me outside the house, had told me that the cows told me that the cows in the field next door were going to come eat me and other such crazy stories that terrified me. I repeatedly held in my mind the lovely experience of the corgis jumping all over me and licking my face with conditional love, while also remembering that painful time with my grandmother. It worked. Now I cannot think of my grandmother without immediately thinking of the corgis. The old memory fades away, replaced by joy and love. Now, this is the fourth step of taking in the good by linking positive and negative. Now, you are injecting medicine in for what else your mind directly into the neural network where pain and distress and dysfunctions are rooted. Now, this linking may seem to is exotic or risky, but actually it's natural. Now, I bet you do this yourself already sometimes. Now, holding position positive and negative together in your mind. You may remember a friend's support when you are worried about your kids. Now, talk yourself down when you get upset about something. Go for a walk in nature if you are feeling blue. Pray about an illness or loss or a whole chronic pain in a large and peaceful space of awareness. Linking positive and negative can be done informally in everyday life as well as formally in various psychotherapies. For example, psychoanalysis connects a new interpretation into a person's neurotic symptoms, and Rogerian therapy holds a client's pain in the therapist's unconditional positive regard. In particular, coherence therapy developed by Bruce Eager and colleagues systematically thinks positive and negative material, taking the fourth step. So let's get into the details of the fourth step of taking in the good. You begin as usual with the first three steps: have, enrich, and absorb. And then, when you feel solid in the positive experience, you link it with some negative material. You can hold both positive and negative material in awareness as long as you like. When you are done, let go of the negative and allow yourself to marinate entirely in the positive for another few seconds at least. Even neutral situation, action and relationship or desire. For example, the trigger has become associated with negative material in your mind several times over the next hour, with no sense of the negative being present. Try to be aware of neutral or positive things along with the neutral trigger for dozen seconds or longer. Sometimes there is no clear neutral trigger, or at least you can't think of one. If so, no worries. Just keep this part of the fourth step, the holding in awareness of both positive and negative material that you have done will still have benefit for you. Holding two things in mind. It can feel a little odd at first to be aware of two things at once, but you already have many experiences of these from listening now while taking notes to keeping a preschooler happy in the back seat while driving to school. With a little practice, you will get even better at it. Keep the negative material in the background of awareness so that it is dim, small, and mild. Meanwhile, hold the positive material in the foreground so that it is bright, big, and intense. If the negative gets too strong, drop it like a hot potato. Be on your own side. You are for the positive. You want it to win. If it's useful, imagine allies with you, supporting you, strengthening you, cheering you on. If the negative is especially intense or compelling, you can simply be aware of the idea of it, nothing more, while immersing yourself in the positive. Or you could have a more detailed sense of the negative material, but still keep it far off in the wings of the stage of awareness, with the positive material under the spotlight. Most challenging but probably most powerful. You could sense the positive making direct contact with the negative. For example, you could imagine the positive material shifting down into the negative like a warm, gentle, and persistent rain, like a golden balm that touches and soothes places inside that feel raw, hard, or bruised, or like water filling up old hollows. Making connections, you could also imagine that the positive material is connecting with younger layers in your psyche, as this person did. My mother abandoned our family on my third birthday. Regularly, I take in the good while walking on a nearby trail along a lagoon. Every day I see things there that nourish me, such as the graceful flight of a large block of birds or the tender new leaves on a bush. When I notice such things, stop for maybe 30 seconds to drink them in, breathe deeply and imagine the goodness of the experience sinking into me. I find the image of feeling a treasure chest in my heart effective. I began pairing this beautiful experience with the thought of my mother's living. At first, it was bewildering to think of her, but after doing this practice for a few months, I can now think of my mother without it feeling painful. You could even get the sense that the child inside you, since there are younger layer inside everyone's psyche, is finally getting some things that he or she always needed. Perhaps visualize a nurturing adult part of you holding and comforting a young part of you in your lap. As this woman did recently, her deep childhood heart appeared out of the rabbit hole of memory. In the past, it would have swept me away. Now, but this time I asked myself, what does this very scared and alone small child need? The answer was for someone to hold her with love and be a witness to her sadness. So I just stayed with the sense of caring, gentle, caressing presence who listened to this little girl and didn't try to talk her out of her feeling. Many years later, that small child was finally heard, felt, and held. This heart has reappeared several times since, but it keeps getting softer. As a bonus, if it's real for you, explore a sense of receiving the positive material into the negative, like a sense of being served or a sense of young parts of you receiving and taking in at least a little of what they have longed for. This involves a kind of dual perspective in which one part of your experiences while another part of your experiences receiving it. Three requirements. Overall, the fourth step has three requirements. First, you have to be able to hold two things in mind at once. Second, you can't allow yourself to get hijacked by the negative material. Consequently, I recommend that you don't use this method yourself for the black hole at the center of trauma. Though a trained therapist might use the fourth step with his or her clients. Third, you need to keep the positive material more prominent, otherwise it could get infused with negativity. This may all seem complicated at first, but after you try the fourth step of heal a few times, it will feel straightforward and even simple. Antidote experiences. The fourth step of taking in the good is very useful way to match key resource experiences, which we explored in chapter 4, with your own issues and needs. For instance, you could link feeling all right now with anxiety, ease with irritability, gladness and gratitude with sadness, connection with separation, feeling loved with feeling hurt, worthiness with inadequacy, and motivation with feeling stuck. In effect, you would be using a particular positive experience as a kind of antidote for certain negative material. For other examples, see table 5, matching some antidote experience to negative material. It organizes positive and negative experiences in terms of your three core needs for safety, satisfaction, and connection. Of course, the antidotes listed are not the only way to address the negative materials. This woman used her memories of positive experiences with loved one to ease the pain of his death. I lost my close friend 8 months ago. He was an exceptional person who loved me deeply. I feel the grief and then focus on one of the wonderful moments we shared. I relive the memory as vividly as I can and allow the happy feelings of those times to soak in. Then the sadness becomes softer and I bear it with a love that feels like what we used to share. Perhaps something has been bothering you lately. You are dealing with chronic anxiety or guilt, or you are trying to heal an old pain such as a shocking loss when you were a child. Try and name the issue to yourself and then ask what experiences would help with these issues. Once you have some kind of answer, and it doesn't need to be a perfect one, you can look for opportunities to have these antidote experiences in daily life and use them in the fourth step of the heal process. Additionally, see chapter 10 for guided practice you can use to call up and take in these key experiences on your own. Repeatedly linking antidote experience to negative material has been deeply helpful to me. It's been the main way I have gradually filled the hole in my heart. Table 5. Starting with negative. Most of the time, when you do the fourth step, you will begin with positive material in the sequence I have described so far, but you can also use negative material as your starting point. Let's say that something negative has gotten reactivated inside you. In terms of the three fundamental ways to engage the mind, you start with the first one, being with that's there. You step back from the negative material to observe it. After a while, it will feel right to shift into the second one, decreasing the negative. You might relax a little, cry, or try to let go of some harmful thoughts. At some point, you will be ready for the third way to engage the mind, increasing the positive. Then you use the heal step with a particular focus on the key experiences that will provide an antidote to the negative material that begin this process. I use this sequence often, usually for mildly negative experiences. Now Let's say I'm getting frustrated with writing an email. I'll start by being with my reactions, trying to sort out what's bugging me so much. Maybe it's that I feel pressed to get a lot done in a short amount of time. Next, I'll begin letting go of that sense of stress by exhaling slowly and looking out the window as my inner stress needle climbs down from orange to yellow and even yellow green. I'll shift into letting in some good feelings, such as a sense of accomplishment from the stuff I have gotten done today, and an overall feeling that things will be okay, even if I don't finish this email right now. And then using the fourth step of taking the good, I'll help these good feelings connect with the frazzled parts of my mind. Sinking into them, reassuring them, making them less alarmed. So the next time my email inbox starts overflowing, I won't feel so pressured about it when they're stressed, worried, frustrated. Or hurt about something. People frequently use the first two ways to engage the mind, letting be and letting go, but skip the third one, letting in. Unfortunately, in terms of the garden of the mind, then they miss a chance to grow flowers. Inner strength in the space left by the weeds they pulled. Plus, as any gardener knows, if you don't replace weeds with flowers, the weeds come back. So, when the bad feelings pass, or at least some of them, remember to take in some good news, the good ones, not the news. Today, not a single person even joined. One person joined actually, but after that, no one has joined. So it's okay. I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing it for yourself as well. If you're watching, if you're following, and if you are also trying to improve yourself, then it is helping both of us. So it's very awesome reading. Even if there is no one for you, you are just trying to improve yourself. You are just trying to get the things done so that you can have in your future, so that you will be better than today what you are. So it's very awesome when you are trying to work for yourself, not for other or not for any other thing that you want in your life. Let's say if there are most of the people who want to have money in their life, and they try to create the YouTube channel, they grow as well. So their basic purpose, but the purpose here, what I'm here is just to reading, just to improve myself, just to have communication, just to improve my communication, just to get very familiar with YouTube, so that I can speak in front of very much people, like lots of people. Then like the eyes, like all the thing I really want, like I want to feel that I am talking to someone. I want to feel that yes, I'm growing. I want to feel that yeah, I'm like I stick to my consistency. I am a very consistent person. Now read. I like to read. I've been consistent for more than 37 days. Now it will be 38th day. So it's very awesome. I like to be like this. I like to be like this. Even if people are not gonna watch me, I don't. I do care about it. Like in their, in my mind there is something that do care, like oh man, why people are not watching it. But eventually my goal is reading here, improving myself, so that not on YouTube but in my professional life I'll be able to speak very fluently in the sense, the thoughts that I want to convey, I will be able to convey it very much clearly. I won't be having anything in it like words, because it is not making any sense, but I'm just trying to make the sentence and conflicting all the things, including likes, some other words and all those things. And so what I'm trying to do here is that I really want to have a communication, I really want to have a good pronunciation, so that whenever I speaks in front of people or whenever I communicate to other, then I should be able to communicate my thoughts very clear. That is why that is the basic purpose, this basic purpose of mine. I just remind myself saying this so that I should be consistent. I should be able to like read every day at least for 91 days. After that, like we can see what we can do. But at least I should start these, because I've been thinking it for a long time. It's been like more than 3.5 years that I'll start these and that. But I started it and I thought that because of some time, like I won't be able to like perform, or I won't be consistent, so I didn't start it. But now I started and I am consistent on it. literally so much consistent that I like even not missing a single. Like I said, like okay, I'll remove it. I've been consistent. I've been so consistent that I even didn't skip a single day. So it's very awesome when you work on yourself, when you work on your consistency, when you work on your improve, your growth. Then you feel very good when you accomplish it. I'm seeing at the same time myself, like I have opened the YouTube live streaming where I can see my stream, and I see myself that how I am talking. So I'm just trying to figuring out that if it is good or not. Let's see how it goes after a certain period of time. If on Sunday and Saturday I'll try to find out the things that I can improve, I will take the notes of those and will try to we'll try to think about it. And if I'm going to think about those things that I don't want, eventually my brain will try to remove it from my behavior or from my sentences. It will try to do that. It happens. You just have to figure out the things that you don't like or you don't want your communication, or the things that you want. And if you figure out those things and you write it down, then definitely your brain will make you remember that you have to say this thing, or you have to behave in this way, or you have to have likewise communication. So I'm gonna do that, as well as you can also do if you are watching this, so that we can both together grow and share the things with each other, so that we can grow. And again, it's very awesome when we perform our challenges. It's been 15 days now. We are about to complete it, and that's all. Let me read because I'm not getting most of the things in my mind now. What to say? Now I've shared the things that I was feeling, I was thinking of, I guess, and yeah. Let's continue reading it. Mm-mm-mm. When they are stressed, worried, frustrated, or hurt about something, people frequently use the first two ways to engage the mind: letting be and letting go, but skip the third one, letting in. Unfortunately, in terms of garden of the mind, then they miss a chance to grow flowers, inner strengths, in the space left by the weeds they pulled. Plus, as any gardener knows, if you don't replace weeds with flowers, the weeds come back. So, when the bad feeling pass, or at least some of them, remember to take in some good ones, linking positive material and negative situations. A variation on the fourth step is to deliberately encourage a strongly positive experience in city settings or with people that are difficult for you. Over time, the positive material you have repeatedly taken in will start activating automatically as an inner strength in this previously challenging situation. I'll use an example here of relaxing and calming your body in increasingly tense situations. Start with the easiest situations and work your way upward on a 1 to 10 scale of difficulty. Perhaps you are waiting in a lunch line at a deli to order your sandwich and you feel a little nervous about getting back to work on time. Suppose this is a 1 on the challenge scale. So you use your relaxation methods while in line, exhaling slowly, remembering happy times, and gradually feel more at ease. Next, pick a slightly harder challenge, or 2 or 3 or 4. Perhaps you have got an important meeting today and you are ongoing agonizing more than you need to about what would be the right blouse or tie to wear. Keep calming your body until you feel more settled down. Raise the bar further. Now 6 might be speaking up to disagree with a coworker, while an 8 could be disagreeing with your boss. Now obviously don't do things that wouldn't be good for you. Keep relaxing your body even in the situation. You don't have to be perfect. If it's 6, let alone an 8 or 10, yeah, it's natural to still be somewhat nervous or revved up. When you are ready, you can approach the 10 of telling a significant person how you really feel about something that's very vulnerable and important to you. You can also use this method with ongoing difficult conditions. This woman learned to think positive feelings, which chronic pain. Now I suffer from severe back pain, which is aggravated by the fear I have about it. To counter this, now I started focusing on when my back was not in pain. When I would go to work and afterward, my back felt okay. I would spend minutes acknowledging these and feeling good about it. I imagined a kind of warmth, sometimes a warm light like sunlight, or sometimes a warm, sparkling, gooey liquid, a bit like melted chocolate, that would seep into every cell in my body, especially my back. It really felt like this warm goodness was soothing my back, like putting oil on a squeaky door joint each time I did this. No, I was making a kind of mental video of my back, my back being and feeling all right. Eventually, I had hundreds of these good videos in which I had actually been comfortable and moving easily. Increasingly, this became my expectation instead of a dreaded agony that I was always bracing against. It was as if being more flexible in my mind allowed me to be more flexible in my body. Practicing the first step. The practice that follows focuses on key experience in the approaching reward system. We will start with a positive experience that is an antidote to negative feelings people can have when they don't reach a goal, such as frustration, disappointment, failure, or inadequacy. Antidote experience that can soothe and replace this negative material. They include feelings of success, arriving satisfaction, and being praised or valued. To do this practice, you need to know both what the negative material is that you are trying to ease and heal, what its positive antidote is. This clarity alone will be helpful to you, because then you will know better that positive experience to look for or create for yourself. I suggest you pick negative material that is mild to moderate in its intensity. See if an inherently neutral situation, action, or desire. The neutral trigger has become connected with the negative material in your mind. For example, making a to-do list, getting goals, or telling others about your hopes and dreams, which are neutral, if not positive, may have become connected to experience of disappointment or failure. If you can't identify a neutral trigger, that's all right. You can still do the fourth step. If you get stuck into the negative material, drop it and stay with only positive material. Once you are stable in the positive, if you want, bring the negative back into awareness. First, have bring to mind one or more times when you attain a goal. Now, perhaps it is a major achievement or a series of tasks done, or a kind of speeded of a movie, or your life that quickly notes numerous milestones reached. It could be things learned or finished, or otherwise. Hello, hi. At both large and small. Let knowing these facts become an experience of accomplishing, contributing, and adding value. Now let knowing them become an experience of being adequate, being more than adequate, being a success. Very good morning. Welcome to the live streaming, where we read every day for 2 hours. It's our reading challenge for 91 days. And very welcome. If you are new here, then you can also start reading with me in the morning every day at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, around 8 9, so that we can improve together, have good communications, and it's very awesome. And reach open to this experience and stay with it. Let it become more intense, sink into it, help it become big in your mind. Explore different aspects of it, finding things that are new or fresh in it. Consider how this experience of being successful is relevant to you. Absorb intent and sense. Now that this experience is sinking into you, let feeling successful sink into you as you sink into it. As you feel increasingly accomplished and successful, let any drivenness fall away along with any inner sense of grasping after or straining toward rewards of any kind. Okay, that's awesome. You know me. Yeah, everybody should know me because I'm going to get myself very improved so that you will also be improved. When you are ready, try the fourth step. In the background of your awareness, bring to mind some knowing of the negative material. You could just have an idea of it in passing, or a quick survey of it, or a sense of how it feels in your body, or a noting of a negative memory. Meanwhile, keep the positive material prominent in awareness in addition to this negative material. Hold both at the same time, perhaps like two things on stage at once, the positive material in the front under the spotlight with the negative material dim and back in the wings. By the way, good efforts, keep it up. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll keep continue doing it because even if I'm not gonna get any subscriber or anything, but I know that it will really improve me. It will really improve my communication. There are lots of things that will improve, not only communication and reading, but my confidence, my consistency, my willpower, all the things will improve just because of this, because I'm noticing the changes in me, and that is the thing, that is why I'm continuing doing it. Wings, you could also get a sense of the positive connecting with the like negative, going into it somehow, infusing it, sinking into it like a warm golden salve soothing hard places inside, or like golden dust shifting down into difficult places, or light moving into shadows. Perhaps imagine beautiful jewels or anything else you like gradually filling your own hole in the heart. Good answer. Yup. You may have a sense of younger part or a layer of yourself being given now what they have longed for. Now there could be an image or feeling of something nurturing and kind, holding a young version of yourself and giving something to it. If you get too drawn into the negative, turn up the positive, making it more prominent in awareness, big in the front of your mind. If the negative remains too powerful, drop it. Recenter yourself in the positive. After a while, if you want, bring the negative material up into the background of awareness to be infused again with the more powerful positive material. If it's real for you, see if you can get a sense of receiving the positive material, a sense of it sinking into vulnerable, young, bruised, hungry, needy, or longing places inside you. Then let go of the negative material altogether and stay with the positive. If this feels difficult or unnatural, try telling yourself that it is okay to be with the positive, that you are allowed to do this, that it will be good for you and others, and be on your own side, using determination to focus on just the positive experience. A few times over the next hour, for a dozen or more seconds at a time, be aware of only neutral or positive things, perhaps including a sense of accomplishment or success, while also bringing to mind neutral triggers, people, situations, and ideas of a sense of failure. You need some courage to try the fourth step. So be especially kind to yourself, recognizing the moxie it takes to open to the negative. Over time, let it sink in that the actual experience of much, if not most, negative material is fairly brief and not overwhelming. This fact is itself good news. Taking it in. Unpleasant experiences are part of life and sometimes have valuable value. Now, but due to the activity bias, it's easy for unpleasant experiences to get stored in your brain as negative material, which has negative consequences for you and often others. When negative material is activated, typically from implicit memory stores, it is not retrieved as a unit from storage, but rather is reconstructed in a dynamic process. Now, when it comes into consciousness, it starts associating with whatever else is present in awareness. Then, when it's no longer activated, it gets reconsolidated back into memory, also in a dynamic process. The dynamic nature of memory reconstruction and reconsolidation gives you two good methods for changing negative materials. First, when you are aware of prominently positive material alongside the negative, what's positive can soothe, compensate for, and sometimes eventually override the negative. Sometimes during the window of reconsolidation, if you bring to mind a neutral trigger associated with the negative material while feeling only neutral or positive, this can disrupt the reconsolidation process and gradually erase the association between the neutral trigger and the negative material. Yes, I can do that, but I have just decided that for at least 30 days, I'm going to just read after like knowing people. Like, let's say if even I only get one person who is listening me, then I will start doing like explaining the things so that it will be better for both of us, whoever is watching, and I for me as well. Like, let's say if I read a paragraph and if I started explaining, then there should be someone who can listen in the sense who can like chat with me so that we can have good conversation. But even though after 30 days even I didn't get any person, even though I will start explaining the things, but I have to first like clear my pronunciation and like the way I'm speaking. I just want to have habitual myself of it. So just because of that, I'm reading it only, not explaining most of the things. I just reading, and yeah, that's the thing. I have just decided I'm reflecting on my videos. Let's say if I'm doing this live streaming, after live streaming I do one thing that I watch my videos on Saturday and Sunday, and I reflect on that. I take some of the notes. I like find the things that I like what should be improved and all those things. But anyway, like I have decided for 30 days at least that I'm going to read only, and we'll see how it goes. If there is some people who is joining and wanted me to have some explanation, then definitely I'm going to have explanation. But besides that, after like completing 30 days, we will decide like what we have to do or not. Okay, that's very awesome. We are going to do then. Yeah, now then I have to figure out like how I'm going to explain and all those things, because as of now like there are so many things that I want to improve in myself, like the way of explaining as well. Because when you explain the things to another, at the time it should be like those people should understand it, and in order to make them understand you need to have some examples. So I need to figure out these how I can explain. So I was just thinking that let's read for now. After reading it, when I start reading next chapter or next book, at the time I'll try to explain it. But anyway, if you want it, then definitely I'll try to do it so that we can get better, you and me, and you'll also listen. I'll also get better just because of it, and that is how it will be very awesome. Yep. And we are almost about to end our live streaming because it's almost 2 hours. If you have any doubts, questions, or anything that you want to ask, you can ask. Like, I'm here to answer, or I'm here to communicate with you. Not answer actually, but just to communicate with you, because we are growing together, we are reading together, we are showing together. That's the thing. I can't see any message, so that means you don't have any question. Let me end this live streaming. So that we thanks for considering my suggestion. Sure, very welcome, no problem. So now we are going to end this live streaming for today, and it was very awesome day because we have completed our 15th day of challenge, which is in itself very good, because when you complete your challenge you feel very fulfilled or a sense of accomplishment, and I'm feeling that. And if you are also being with me the same way, reading every day, then you will also notice yourself it's not all about reading only, but you can accomplish your own things, like whatever you have taken the challenges, like it could be anything, like it could be exercise, it could be anything, whatever you are working on. But if you are like growing together, like with me, like let's say if I'm reading here, you are performing your challenge, it could be exercise, then you will feel a sense of accomplishment. So let's grow together, let's read together, and let's do challenges together. That's all for today. That's and thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.